I remember feeling really alone and just like that's when I knew I was actually like I'm actually a drug addict. I've fallen so far that nobody really wants to be in my life anymore at this point. So and then that just led me to now 10 years of off and on addiction, which the last five five or so years I've become more of used to be a little crazy and to be out there partying or whatever, but now I'm very functional at home, don't mess with anybody, but have the desire to stop, obviously, because I feel like I'm a slave almost to my drug, which is fentanyl. But I one day I ended up finding a podcast with where they were talking about ibogaine. It was this guy, and he was very passionate, and also there you just talk about a lot of the health benefits and all that, and like possibility of starting over and learning from a clean slate just sounded like exactly what I wanted and needed because I didn't realize how valuable it was like to have when I was younger I didn't realize the value of where I was at and all the time that I had and all the proper brain function that I had. So to have that possibility of starting over just was really exciting and really still a lot of hope in me. So yeah, I think that's the most encouraging thing about ibogaine. And definitely makes me want to try. I've tried everything else a million times. So
Right. So I just wondered whether you realize that while it does reset the brain, it's going to take your mind,
mhm,
it's going to take your will, it's going to
absolutely.
take real change in your life.
Hmm.
And also that the trauma might come up, the trauma that you have may perhaps took. Gabor Mate says that trauma is the root that of addiction, but it may not come up until after you've done the ibogaine. So,
Right.
and that's so you have to be prepared for really working on yourself, but that it's not just going to be a magic bullet. I just want to make sure you're aware.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm very into wellness, and like, there's a lot of things that I want to do, want to try, want to still in my life that I just haven't. I've been wanting to be like clean for in order to really go with meditation and all that stuff. I really have a passion for that. I like metaphysical things like that, and I want to make that an everyday part of my life. I've been wanting to be in a good headspace to do so. You know what I mean? So because it feels like it's kind of sort of like it doesn't make any sense to do it or to try to make changes in certain places while this huge problem is still a big part of my life. So
Well, I think I can totally understand why you're saying that because this it doesn't seem to matter to make little changes because the big change has to
mhm.
happen. But now that you're entering into this program and that you're going to have the ibogaine help during the preparation phase, we are going to start asking you to make some changes
Mhm.
and a progression of changes so that you can be ready for.
Right,
And I think you'll have the motivation to do the smaller things now because there's a bigger thing ahead that you're preparing for
right.
and something I just want you to be aware of. So thank you so much for everything you shared.
Mhm.
Can you share a moment in your life in addiction that was really hard for you, something that happened that was really hard?
There's been a lot of hard moments.
But just select one that speaks to you right now.
Well, the hardest moment I would say for me would have been when it was a holiday and I had asked my family if, or I'd asked my grandma if I could come over and celebrate. I think it was Mother's Day or something actually. And I wanted to come over and see her and see my family. And I needed a shower. I was actually out. I wasn't living anywhere. I was just crashing wherever or hanging out wherever. And but that was the first time I felt rejected by my family, by the family I was actually close to, which I think triggered also to the abandonment issues that I already have. So it just, I know that was really a low point for me. Just that whole period in my life where I was just not living anywhere. I didn't have anywhere. And it was like everywhere I would go, every turn I would make, somebody else didn't want me, rejecting me, which for good reason, I'd say probably. I wasn't the most stable person or the best person at the time, but I remember feeling really alone and just like, that's when I knew I was actually like, I'm actually a drug addict. I've fallen so far that nobody really wants to be in my life anymore at this point. So
Thank you for sharing that. On the other side of that, what do you hope for on the other side of ibogaine?
I'm really hoping for the opportunities, like I said, start over a clean slate in terms of my brain chemistry, and also too, I'm really hoping to find my purpose in all this. I know that's kind of something that can come up in me during the process, and that's something I've really struggled with, is like what life has for me, or where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do, those kinds of things. And I really hope that I can get some clarity out of everything and find my place in this world. So I am a fairly stable person. I have a job, I have a vehicle, I have a apartment that I lived here for 5 years. I've been with my partner for 8 years, and the one thing in my life that is just really lacking is this problem that I have. So I have raised the initial $2,400, and I would really appreciate anything that anybody can give to help. It would mean a lot to me, and anything helps.
Beautiful.